Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Southern California. It's a little bit cold here in the Northwest, but it's sunny in Los Angeles, and that's where we head tonight, to Irwindale Speedway, here for the second half of the Mountain View Classic, here live on LSR TV, featuring the Joe's Racing products. iRacing.com Northwest Tour. It is race number 2 of the Mountain View Classic, live on LSR TV. It is 125 laps at Irwindale. Good evening, everybody. I'm Greg Rentz. Thank you for joining us here tonight for our second race of the weekend. Joining me in the booth for this special race to myself, more on that in a minute, is Charles Wooten, with Wesley Outland down on pit road as the Joe's Racing Products pit reporter. Charles, 125 laps last night at Lucas Oil Raceway. Seth Frazier led every lap. What do we see tonight at Irwindale?
Almost deja vu. I think we're going to see a lot of what we saw, but different. And at the same time, we're going to see good racing, but at a different track. Again, we know for a fact that the setup was made from this one with some gear changes for last night's track. So I think the setup will be a little bit better for this track. But I still think real estate's going to be a big key. You don't want to make too many mistakes and get out of the groove. But overall, I think the fundamentals are going to be the same as what we saw last night, but possibly maybe a few less cautions because the setup was originally designed for this track.
Yeah, the setup that these drivers were on was built with this racetrack in mind and was tweaked in the gear ratio for Lucas Oil last night. This racetrack, just the second time it has been on the schedule for the tour. Travis Barnes getting the win here last year in dominating fashion, finished second in a drag race with Josh Washington for the second spot last night at Lucas Oil. Seth Frazier picking up the win, going wire to wire, but he's got his work cut out for him tonight. Because of that win, he's going to have to start tail end Charlie shotgun on the field. If Seth wants to go back to back, he's going to have to pass 23 cars.
Yeah, that is a lot of cars you got to pass, and we saw last night it can be done. You just have to mind your P's and Q's, cross your T's and dot your I's, and get through the field cleanly, and that's going to be the key, is cleanly. As I have seen a few people doing some spin outs here, so I think we'll see some cautions. So I don't think it's going to be a clean and green race. There is going to be some debris on the track when it's all said and done. I'm thinking maybe 2-3 cautions tops, though. I don't see us having too many cautions, but I think it's going to be enough to restack this field a little bit, and I assume we are taking no tires again here tonight as well.
That is correct. No tires, no fast repairs, no fuel. Just go out and race here for 125 laps on pit road. This historic half mile here in Irwindale, California, just outside of Los Angeles, has a third mile oval on the inside of it. They race both tracks every night that this track races. Tonight we're on the half mile, but there has been a growing movement for late models on the third mile that we have talked about here. Real quick, before we go to our quick commercial break to thank some sponsors, just real quick, want to give a quick hello to our Joe's Racing Products pit reporter, Wesley Outland. Wesley, what are you expecting here from the very famous Irwindale Speedway?
The home of the original NASCAR Toyota All-Star Showdown, the NASCAR West Series, and the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts weekly sanctioned track. This half mile is going to offer some great excitement tonight for the iRacing Northwest Tour. We saw an exciting event at Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis last evening, and I think we're going to see the same thing as well. No pit stops, again, allowed to make repairs. Fast repairs are void. Also, changing tires are void. We might have to keep an eye on fuel strategy if there's a raft of caution flags, but other than that, we'll try to grab stories and so much more. 6 degrees of banking on the front straightaway, 9 degrees going into turns number 1 and 2. Turns number 3 and 4 are at 12 degrees of banking, and yes, just like at Lucas Oil Raceway, Greg, last night, progressive banking will also be used here at Irwindale Speedway. It'll be a fun time. I'm looking forward to being your Joe's Racing Products pit reporter this Sunday night from Irwindale, California, virtually.
Thank you very much, Wesley. We're going to step away for just a quick moment. Thank one of our great partners here on LSR TV. And when we come back, practice will be underway live here on LSR TV, your home for sim racing.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom T-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized. I mean, we do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the, top quality shirts, inks and everything. Hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. Just you can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold, to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customer and stuff. So you can just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing, and if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, it's a little bit differently. You can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink colors. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletprooftees at yahoo.com, or they can go to the website bulletprooftees.com.
Welcome back to Irwindale, California, ladies and gentlemen. Practice is underway as you see the sun setting across the beautiful Southern California skyline here that surrounds the racetrack. Got that footage last night from some practice after a few drivers made the trek over from Lucas Oil Raceway to get some last-minute practice in for tonight. This is a very special track to myself, too, and I know Wesley, he has a interesting story from this racetrack as well, but this is the track I fell in love with the sport of auto racing. The first race I ever attended when I was 5 years old was the grand opening of this amazing facility all the way back in 1999. It's a night I will never forget, even being just 5 years old at the time. I'll never forget that night, and ever since then, this has long been considered my home track. This is the track I fell in love with the sport. Got to see so many great drivers race here. Tony Stewart, Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, Ray Evernham. I got to see them all race together here. Tonight, we're at Irwindale to write our own piece of history at this historic half-mile oval. And Charles, it's also still NASCAR Throwback Weekend. A lot of drivers sporting that same throwback paint scheme that we saw last night at Lucas Oil.
Yeah, we travel a little bit of a distance to go to a new track, but still same cars, same paint jobs, and I really can't say same drivers. There are some new drivers here. There's some ones we saw last night, but also some new ones. I don't think Shane Quinn was here last night. Isaiah Gill, I do believe he was here.
He was, yes.
Dan Lowther was here, of course. We recall that little ride he had along the fence. Hopefully he fares better here tonight than he did last one. Jake Podan, I do not believe he was here. Mark Farrer was not here. So a few drivers that were and a few drivers that weren't. We got a mixed bag here tonight.
Let's talk about Jake Podan for a minute in his number 08, because there's not a number on it. This is NASCAR Throwback Night, but you saw him right there. You may have seen that car, the white car with the black streak, drive by. He's not sporting exactly a NASCAR throwback, but it's a throwback scheme nonetheless, and I gotta say, it's my pick for best throwback of the week. Let's see if we can pick up Podan in his number 08. He's gonna squeak by right there. He is running an IROC throwback right there it is, the old True Value IROC cars. Oh, it's in the wall, and that's going to be a backup car, no doubt. But look at that, he is running the IROC throwback, and I know a lot of our viewers might not remember what IROC was. It was 12 cars set up identical. They each had a paint scheme like that, just with a different color for each car. The best drivers in racing, not the best drivers in NASCAR, the best drivers in racing would climb into these identically prepared cars and go out 4 times a year and go for it. This one obviously paying tribute to Dale Earnhardt with the paint scheme that's on board that car, but it was so much fun. You're kind of seeing, I won't say a reboot, but you're seeing a spiritual successor, if you will, to IROC. New for 2021 with the new superstar racing experience Tony Stewart and Ray Evernham started. But it's so cool to see the old True Value IROC paint scheme one last time.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how it goes. Hopefully it takes off and goes well. And speaking of Tony Stewart, always got to give him a shout out when you hear about him. Obviously at the Wild Wing Shootout, set a track record by .001. So good job for him setting a record. He may be getting there up in age, but obviously still has it.
Yeah, Tony Stewart, I mean, I know as announcers we're not supposed to show bias, but I mean, I was 5 years old when I started watching racing, and Tony Stewart has been my favorite driver from the moment that I started watching racing in person, including seeing him win here on Thanksgiving night in 2000. That was the night that it was locked up for sure. He was my favorite driver, and he has been my favorite driver ever since then. So even here, 20 plus years later, every time you hear Tony Stewart got the win, I always smile personally. Gotta love him. One of the best drivers of all time, and awesome to see him still doing well.
Yeah, he is definitely still very, very deep into the sport. Good to have him with us and still racing and still contributing back to it. I definitely look forward to seeing how that series goes. But someone who's at the top right now is Nick Bellamy. Nick Bellamy didn't have the finish he wanted last night. Tonight, he's looking to rebound from that, as he is fastest here in practice right now.
And Bellamy was very strong at the Lucas Oil Raceway right now. Second on the board because Cole Raz just knocked him down off the top. Cole Raz is going to race here in a couple of weeks in real life for the Southwest Tour opener, the new showdown here at Irwindale. Cole Raz heading down from Lake Oswego, Oregon. He's going to go out and tear it up here. He's raced here before. A couple drivers in this field have raced at this racetrack before in real life, so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys go at it and see what happens. A lot of drivers have raced here before. A lot of drivers in this field plan to race here in the future, so gonna be fun to see them get some laps in and try and go out and see what they can do here at the Irwindale Speedway. Raz, Bellamy, Barnes, last year's winner of this race. Your top three.
Yeah, this will be very interesting. And this iRacing, is used a lot as a simulator for real life stuff. So, if you can get some good experience on here, it's not going to be identical to the real deal, but it will be as close as you're going to get to it. I can promise you this. I have been around, games, simulators, stuff like that, for many years. And if you're looking for practice for a track to get a little bit of seat time in it, one, you're not even going to find Irwindale in any other sim or game. So you definitely want to check it out on iRacing. But yeah, it's good for that. But tonight, I don't think we're going to see a lot of cautions, Greg, so I wanted to bring this up. If we don't see a lot of cautions, how fast last night went? Could we see this one go even faster? And I don't believe, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, is there anybody that's on probation coming into this one? I'm not sure if Ellie Musgrave is still on probation or not.
The only driver that is on probation tonight, as far as I'm aware, is BJ Tidrick in the 72. Here's why. We didn't see this at the end of the race last week. We saw it, but we didn't really highlight it. At the end of the race, BJ Tidrick was caught up in an incident with Eric Cheney in which he tapped. Well, that was his second tap of the race at the very end. So yes, he did go on probation for this race because of 2 taps the previous race. So Tidrick, I believe, is the only driver on probation tonight.
So BJ Tidrick on probation, and we haven't had this pop up yet, but it is something I've been thinking about here. Especially we were talking to BJ earlier, and he's out of provisionals. So if a driver's out of provisionals and they don't make a race, and they're on probation. So if you don't make a race, you're on probation. Obviously, that probation carries over to the next week. So, that's got to be awful if you don't make the race, and finally you do come in and you're still on that probation. So, you definitely want to, if you're on probation, in my mindset, I want to get into the next race, serve that probation, and be done with it.
Yeah, definitely. And we see that with a lot of drivers. They just want to get it done and over with. And Charles, as we watch practice develop, I'm looking around and I'm noticing quite a few drivers with different paint schemes than what they had last night. So a chance for two different throwbacks here this evening with the two-day throwback weekend that we call it here for the Mountain View Classic. Several drivers, including Brightsman, looking around, Chris Carroll was doing it. Just saw Jason Day with a different paint scheme. Several drivers with different throwbacks tonight than what we saw last night. So kind of unique, an opportunity to have two different paint schemes on board. Seth Frazier, another one in the 32. Last night's winner is running a different paint scheme than what he parked in Victory Lane last night.
Yeah, a lot of awesome paint jobs here. A lot of different, like you said, paint jobs than last night, which is very impressive. Unlike the real world counterpart, unless you had another car ready to go, getting a car completely wrapped or painted in one day, that's a pretty good turnaround for any paint shop. So, and I'm sure Mike Wood Paint's out there doing a lot of these here for tonight, or they might have already had them done. But it'll be interesting, and I just noticed here that Skull Raz got dropped. Travis Barnes now the fastest here in practice. I'm not really surprised by that. He had a hot rod last night as well.
And the defending winner of this race has been one of the strongest drivers the last couple of weeks. Of course, that win at Milwaukee a couple of weeks ago, following it up with a second last night at Lucas Oil. Defending winner of this race. Remember, his win at Milwaukee moved him into a tie with Seth Frazier and Caden Anderson for second all-time on the win count here with 4, before Frazier was able to get his 5th career victory last night to take back sole possession of second on the list. Barnes in a tie with Anderson for 3rd right now for most wins on for all time in this series. Both drivers were very strong last night, both looking for big bounce backs tonight. Well, keep your eye on Barnes in the 8 and Anderson in the 37 as well. He has not yet hit the track for practice, but he is here and is always fast.
Yeah, he is always fast for sure. As your top 5 going to be a good one. Of course, Hector was here last night. Quinn sitting 5th. Fastest was not here last night. We just mentioned that. But time will be winding down here. They got about 2, maybe 3 minutes left before we advance to the race itself. 125 laps. I already made my call. I think we're going to have 2 to 3 cautions. Greg, what do you think we're going to have here, caution-wise, more or less than last night?
I think we're going to see less than last night. I think we're going to see right around 3 to 4. I think we're going to see a couple at the start of the race, but I think once we get rolling, we're going to have a long green flag run, and laps are going to click away pretty quickly here. I'm going to say a couple cautions early, maybe 1 or 2 late, but I'm going to say no more than 4.
No more than 4. I say I'm going to go with 2. I don't think we'll have. I think we may have some in the beginning. I don't think we'll have any at the start of the race, and I'm basing that solely on the fact, Greg, that we don't have static cams here, so we have no static cams.
No opportunity to jinx it.
Yes, no opportunity to jinx it. So I don't think we'll see one right off the start. And again, these guys are gonna have to push it because we know there's $100 on the line to the winner, as well as second as third. So the good news is I don't think they're going to press it extra hard to get to that money because it's based on last night and tonight. It's not just a come in, one race, winner takes all. They average that from last night to tonight. That's going to make it a little harder for these guys that had to finish good both nights. So I think that will eliminate, any of the aggressiveness that we would have seen otherwise. So definitely going to be playing a factor in these mindsets of these guys that are up in the top.
Practice is over, which means it is time to head down to the racetrack for our ComServe Wireless starting lineup as we get set for 125 laps. The field is grading up, which means let's meet our drivers on the pole for this 125 lap race tonight. Will be Shane Quinn in the number 4. Caden Anderson going to roll off to his outside in second position. DJ Tiderick in the number 72 will start third, with Isaiah Gill, who's been very, very strong in his starts here this season. Watch for him to make some noise once again. Points leader Chris Carroll will roll off in fifth with the 97. He's got the Smokin' Joe Camel on board to this evening. Gary Smith, USA winner, another driver with a different paint scheme from last night, rolls off sixth. The Tucker Dog Special, Brock Denny paying tribute to Jeff Gordon with a Gordon throwback that only ran once at Vegas, with Ellie Musgrave to his outside, rounding out the top 10. Northwest Cup Series champion and Lime Rock winner Sean Breitzman, along with Bart Ector Jr., still searching for that first win of the season.
In row 6, going to be Cole Raz. I'd look to see him moving through this field very quickly. Alongside him on the outside, the 52 of Jason Day. Row 7 is going to be 96 of Casey Garber, and the 63 of Dan Lowther, looking to bounce back from his bounce on the wall last night. Row 8 going to be the 04 of Troy Tarbuck, and the 92 of Casey Tillman. Row 9, Levi Allen, the 41, and Briar Reynolds in the 03. Rounding out your top 20 is going to be the 43 of Mark Farrer and the 20 of Nick Bellamy, also looking to recover from last night's race. 21st and 22nd going to be Jake Hodan in the 08 and the 06 of Josh Washington. And rounding out the field here tonight, Travis Barnes and Seth Frazier going to be 22nd or 23rd and 24th. That one's a shocker to see those two back, but I believe that was already in the plans because of last night's race or the race before.
Yeah, top 3 from Lucas Oil falling to the back. Frazier, Barnes, and Washington. But the pace car is in, putting the field in the hands of Shane Quinn. We are underway at Irwindale. Second half of the Mountain View Classic is on. Shane Quinn leads him down into turn number 1. Anderson lurking there in second. And boy, we've seen it in the past couple of years. If Shane Quinn gets out front, it's a tough task to get around him. He has a lot of speed in that Quinn property management entry. And here he is leading the way. He leads lap number 1.
Yeah, lap number 1 in the books, of course, of 125. Caden Anderson in that Harvest Chevrolet trying to run him down. You see him come blasting down the backstretch. Again, I think they're going to go take it fairly easy. As you can see right there, the top probably 5, 6 are a single file at the moment, as that's really the best view we have from TV3. And cameraman doing an amazing job, of course. But look at them all single file. And it looks like Ellie Musgrave has that connection issue sorted out as well.
This is what I expected to see from the... This is what I expected to see around lap 5 or so. I didn't think it would get settled down this quickly. I thought we were going to see a lot of 4-wide action on the start of the race as guys trying to get up in the track position. But they settled down really quickly here, and now we got a freight train rolling at the top of the track. This is the preferred line right here, Charles. Running up at the top, trying to get yourself up against the wall. Fastest way around here. With the passing, that's where you're going to see guys trying to make a move on the inside to try to take the shorter route around the racetrack. But for you just running around, clicking laps away, you want to be right up here against the wall.
Yeah, and not only is this a freight train, to put perspective, you say they're in a train and you think maybe, 5, 6, 10 cars in it. To put in perspective of how many cars are single file, as you can see right there, this is one of those trains that if you got stopped at a train track, you would probably be there for days trying to wait for the train to go, and you'd be frustrated. That's how, that's how many are single file. It's basically the entire field. You do see some trying to get out, like the 64 Brock Denny. He's not quite content being single file. He wants to get it out there with that lime green looking paint job here tonight.
That's Jeff Gordon throwback from, I believe, 2000 and if I recall. So it was the car that Gordon drove at Las Vegas and wound up hitting the wall hard on the inside wall near the end after contact with Matt Kenseth. Thinking back, I believe it was 2009 that he ran this paint scheme at Las Vegas. So Denny in the 64 paying tribute to that, trying to get a run on Ellie Musgrave right now. Cole Raz lurking back there, always a threat every time he climbs behind the wheel. Then you find Bart Hector Jr. in the number 82, who's up there still searching for that first win of the season. He has not won since the first season of the tour, but he won 3 times that year, still searching for that 4th win to move him into a tie with Anderson and Barnes for second all-time, or third all-time, excuse me, as Frazier took sole possession of second with his win last night. Checking in with Frazier, he's up 2 spots now as he's gotten around both Levi Allen and Jake Podan, and is now trying to follow Josh Washington up through the field. Biggest move of the race thus far, Travis Barnes up 4 positions from the 23rd starting spot. He is now make it 5 as he's gotten around Bellamy up to 18th.
Yeah, and right now you can look on the hood of that 32 machine. It's got the M logo. It looks like M&M's. I'm not sure. Or
McDonald's.
M&M's.
That's McDonald's.
I don't know why I'm thinking M&M's, but I'm not sure if that's supposed to be M for Mike Wood as the 43 gets a little loose, or if that legitimately is the M for McDonald's. But right now, Seth Frazier probably not loving it back in the back of the field. He wants to get back to the front. And I think he will soon. But another one to point out, Sean Brightman, he was doing a little better. He's actually falling back a few spots in that throwback Toyota paint job.
Yeah, he's in the original TRD paint scheme in his number 46. Remember, winner at Lime Rock earlier this season, and it was to no surprise to us here in the booth that Sean Brightsman got a win on the road course for his 2nd career victory in the series. A win also at Richmond earlier in the history of the Northwest Tour, but he's kind of just riding it out right now as a battle breaking out behind him. That's between Garber and Day, and Casey Garber, he is looking for a bounce back here tonight, Charles, because he had a disappointing night at Lucas Oil last night. He fought back for a top 10, but all in all, he wants some redemption tonight.
Yeah, redemption is in the eyes of a lot of these guys tonight. Again, night 1 of this just didn't really go the way they wanted it to for some of them. A lot of them had really good runs, and then in the end, it just did not pan out for them. So they're looking to get back, and you know, we're doing good here. We're 17 laps in, or 16 in, working lap 17, about to be working laps 18. Is we're caution free so far. This is doing eerily similar to we had last night. What was our first caution, lap 32?
It was around lap 30. It was around lap 30 or so.
So will we see that again is the question. Is Caden Anderson, you know, I was giving him a little grief earlier. I asked Cole Raz, I said, Cole, are you racing? And he said, yes. And I said, well, Anderson's not winning then. Because you know as well as I do, if Cole Raz is in there, it seems like Anderson finishes second to him. But Cole Raz, deep in the field, well, not too deep. He's up to 9th right now. But Anderson just really hasn't had anything for Quinn since Quinn took the lead.
So Quinn up there leading the way, but Anderson right there in second. Lurking, Isaiah Gill in third. Anderson taking a peek. He's trying that bottom line. He sniffing the lead right now is Anderson in the 37. And remember, we've talked about it. Anderson was a lot of guys' picks for the championship. Shane Quinn, he's no slouch either. 3 wins in his career as well, including last year's Snowball Derby. So Quinn knows how to get it done here on these tracks. So this is a battle we didn't really get to see a whole lot of last year, and hoping to see it more this year, and we finally get to here. Quinn and Anderson battling for the lead early.
Yeah, they are battling, and you know, I have to wonder here. I'd have to go back and look. My info showing this track 0.47 miles in iRacing. I can't remember what the distance was for Lucas Oil Raceway. But fuel did finally come into a factor there. Those guys were concerned about it. At least some of them were up at the front. Will fuel come into play here tonight, Greg?
I'm I'm going to say no. And here's why. We saw drivers worried about fuel mileage, but it turned out they were okay. Wow, Quinn and Anderson almost getting together there off of turn number 2. But I think we'll be fine on fuel, especially if we can keep clicking laps away like this. I think the reason fuel mileage was beginning to become a concern was all the caution laps that we were experiencing throughout the race. So it was getting into that mindset where if we started getting in the GWC territory, then we might be in trouble. But I think we're okay here. We're already at 100 laps to go this time at the line, and much like last year, the laps are clicking away very quickly. This was a very clean race last year, and we're seeing more of it this year. Here in the early stages, 3-car breakaway at the front. So I'm going to say fuel mileage will not be a concern tonight as it was yesterday.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see if it is. It sounds like it is not going to be. And from the looks of it, so we possibly, knock on some wood, find it wherever you have it, could go green to checkered here tonight, which, is good for us. Means we get to get in here and get out, and not a whole lot of, drama on the track potentially as Ellie Musgrave scrapes the wall. Unfortunately, that means Joe's Racing Products isn't going to get a whole lot of love tonight. So we'll give him a little love tonight. We'll give Joe's Racing Products some, as well as Wesley, as he's a lonely little guy down on pit road right now. Wesley, it's kind of bare down there on pit road, but I hear they got a good concession stand at Irwindale.
I always recommend the waffle fries whenever I go there.
You know what I remember from when I was growing up here? The tri-tip sandwiches. I don't know if you've ever had one of those, Wesley.
Yes, they were very good, dude.
Yeah, that's what I always remember from Irwindale. If I was telling people
always
who were
a
going
fan
there
of the
for the
waffle
first time.
fries. Always was a fan of the waffle fries, guys. They waffle fries, obviously.
We're sending you some
You know
love.
what? You let me talk, and I bring out a caution flag. Go figure.
Well, hey, now you got something to go talk to as Ellie Musgrave facing the wrong way on the one-way here. Take a look at what happened.
Well, there you have it. Is like you said, Ellie Musgrave going around. If you need a caution, well, we know what to do. We just toss it down to Wesley, as we'll be tossing it back to him, and just a shot there from the 64.
Oh, Cole Raz getting a piece of it as well. Believe Brock Denny did tap out. Yes, he did. Brock tapping on that one, so he's going to fall to the back. And I'm a little worried about the 21 of Cole Raz. He caught Ellie at a weird angle there. That might do some damage to the nose of the 21 car. And the nose of the 21 is pretty crumpled up. So that's going to be cause for concern in the 21 camp moving forward, Charles.
Yeah, right there. And there you can see the damage that was done. Just nowhere to go for Cole Raz. That's unfortunate for him. We'll see if he does bounce back here shortly. But the interesting question is going to be, does anybody come down pit road? Or is Wesley just going to have to settle for those waffle fries and some steak?
Well, I don't think Wesley would have too many complaints about that, but he's down there catching up with the drivers who were caught up in that, and hopefully we'll have an update for us here sooner rather than later, as we are under caution for our first time tonight, right around the same lap that we saw caution last night, right around lap 30. Charles, kind of interesting that we do that both nights.
Yeah, it's so weird. And top it all off, we're on the first caution on lap 33. There's 33 people watching, and that was roughly about 33 was when we had the first caution last night. Is this one of those things where all things equal 33?
Tonight's race is brought to you by the number 33.
There you go. I'm sure if you went to our sponsor, Mountain View Polaris, you can probably find something in their store for $33. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Might have to look.
We'll have to see. Well, we're getting set to go back green, and we'll, after the restart, give us a couple laps, then we'll get it down to Wesley. 4 updates on our drivers. The green flag is out. Big jump there from Shane Quinn in the 4. That was a nice jump by Quinn in that one. Now remember, last night when we got to this point of the race, that first caution came out. It turned into a caution breed caution race, and this is what I expected to see more of. Look back there as they fan out 3 and 4 wide. That's what I expected more of on the start of this race here tonight, and I'm expecting more of that as the race goes on. But looks like for the most part, we're settling into 2 lines right now, and it seems like everyone's just trying to get up to the top. As you see Brightsman in the 46.
Oh,
Chris Carroll in the wall. That's your points leader, Chris Carroll. No, that's Gary Smith, his teammate, in the number 79. And we got a big wreck. Hector Frazier on his side. And 1 car on his lid.
Take a quick look. We're going to have 2 reports from Wesley. We're going to get his old one and now the new one. We're watching this, and I want to take a look and see. This is not where it started.
This started with Gary Smith in the 79 catching the wall. There it is right there. You can see that. Breaks loose up there, hits the wall, gets into Hector. Travis Barnes gets a piece of it. Bellamy, Frazier, Washington. And who is this that goes on his lid? It might be Washington. Yes, it was Josh Washington in the 06 going for a ride. Well, Wesley, before you head down to catch up with the drivers involved in this one, who you got, or what do you got for us from the first one?
Yeah, a lot of damage right with those numbers. We'll find out who's can be able to keep on and go, or who's going to have to go on the damage clock to try to get repairs done. But anyhow, I was able to grab a word with Cole Raz, Brock Denny. Their cars are okay. No harm, no foul from that incident with Ellie Musgrave. Musgrave's car is okay, but she is also complaining of a little bit of internet issues again, like she had last night, which was really worse last night. But she's trying to hold her own and keep on. And Brock Denny just simply said she was all over the place, flipping, sliding, nowhere to go. They made contact, and that was the exchange of what happened between those guys. Quinn spoke with him. He's got a real strong car. He's happy where he's at right now, staying in the number 1 position, and we'll find out on these other drivers after that big one on the front straightaway.
Wesley, so as we're under our second caution, no sign of anyone tapping out yet, so sounds like this one will be going to the review board. Brian Reynolds tapping on this one. Oh, nope. It was wrong button. He just has black flag cleared.
So is that hashtag fake news? That's Wesley's job, not yours.
Yes, the fake news on that one.
Watch it, Charles.
Fake news.
All right, lights are out on the pace car. No one taps, so that one's going to go to review. Oh, there it is. Right at the end, Gary Smith does tap on it in the number 79, so he will fall to the back. And right as we get set to go back green, Gary Smith, who's coming out of the pits right now, will fall to the back. So Smith tapping on that one. So we get set for a restart. Shane Quinn, Caden Anderson coming up, and these laps are going to click away so quickly that we are already 20 laps from halfway as the green flag falls.
Yeah, halfway coming up very quickly, and oh, that was a lick there from Caden Anderson. He gets into the outside wall. Quinn kind of pinched him up a little bit, didn't give him a whole lot of room up there. And he has to check up and just kind of slightly taps the wall. I don't think it's going to cause too much damage, but really it has been the Quinn show here, as he has been out front all race basically. Caden Anderson, I think, started to reel him in the long green flag run, and then we had those 2 cautions. So, it makes you wonder, is Quinn good on the restarts and able to hold them off for a little bit? And if we get another long green flag run, is Caden Anderson going to be able to catch him?
I think we're about to find out, because Quinn, again, a great restart here. Saw that on the last one, but Anderson and Gill was the one that impressed me, because while Anderson was putting the pressure on Quinn, Gill was able to reel him in slowly but surely, and before you knew it, he was up there. So is Isaiah Gill the fastest of the 3 on the long run? Don't know. We're going to have to find out.
Yeah, that old nursery rhyme, was Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Who's the fairest on the wall? Well, we're going, who's the fastest of them all tonight? That's what we're looking for. And like you said, Isaiah Gill got a hot rod underneath him as Anderson scraping the wall again. Sparks are flying. You can only do that so many times, Greg, before eventually it's going to cause some damage to the car. So he's got to be careful. And it could just be that he's just over driving it, not necessarily an ill handling car.
Boy, speaking of overdriving and battling right now. Cole Raz and Casey Garber are putting on a show back here for the 7th spot. Raz on the inside, Garber on the outside. Barnes lurking back there, trying to figure out a way around the two of them. Barnes already up over 20 or over 15 positions. He's in the top 10 now, trying to charge up as he's on the outside now of Cole Raz, who's going to dive bomb to the bottom to try something a little bit different, to try to make a pass. And nope, not quite, but we're going to pick up right where we left off with Raz and Garber. This is the best battle on the racetrack right now. This is for 7th, 8th, and 9th.
It is definitely a good battle. As look out the rear, let's go up to Travis Barnes, and you're looking through his rear view. And you'll see right there is the 21 to Cole Raz, a little beaten and banging the car, a little destroyed, but he's going to keep it going. Yeah, worse for wear, but again, aerodynamics not a big factor here as we complete lap 50 this time by Cole Raz, trying something different. He's actually going to the high side now. So Cole Raz, he is Christopher Columbus right now. He is looking for anything he can find.
And he's got a little bit of a gap back to Casey Tillman in the number 92. Tillman's going to be happy about next week, Charles, because next week we're headed to Stafford Speedway. Tillman, the defending race winner at Stafford. It was his 2nd win of his career. First one came at Lucas Oil back in 2019. So Tillman, that number 92 right there, he's going to be happy we're headed back to Stafford, a track that he won at last year. So keep an eye on him next week for sure, as he tries to back up his win last season. Battle out, cars continuing to click laps away. I'm so impressed with what Travis Barnes has been able to do so far. Ooh, almost some contact there between Day and Tillman. There's Ellie Musgrave in the 23, who's about 2 seconds ahead of your leaders right now, Shane Quinn and company.
And for some reason, she was well off the pace there for a second, but gets it back underway, and that's why she's so close now to those guys. There's battles everywhere, but she something happened, maybe got a little loose, and it cost her a lot of real estate on the track. And Shane Quinn's going to be catching her here before long. And you see, let's go to his roll bar. You can see there's Ellie Musgrave. She does not want to go a lap down, especially the fact that we aren't seeing a whole lot of cautions, and there are other cars a lap down. So if she goes a lap down, she's not the first one a lap down. She could potentially stay that way for quite some time.
Again, on board with Shane Quinn right now, race leader, and in the mirror you can see Anderson in the wall just a little bit, but Anderson is closing back in, and Isaiah Gill not going away either, and it's a little bit further back to BJ Tidrick in the number 72. That's out the back of Shane Quinn, looking at Anderson and Gill right now, and you can see Tidrick and company lurking back there. Chris Carroll, Sean Brightsman up in the mix as well, but Anderson, very similar spot to where he was last night, trying to reel in the race leader before we had that incident late, which relegated him outside of the top 15. But Shane Quinn trying to do what Seth Frazier did last night. We're already 4 laps from halfway.
Yeah, halfway, going to be coming up very, very quickly here. As you can see, we have 68 laps to go, 57 complete. As Quinn out front, and you can see, we'll get a wide angle here. They're still single file, but they're just a little bit more spread out than they were, say 10, 15 laps ago. And there you see it right there. You got a big gap to second, another gap to a third and fourth, and then a gap to 5th, 6th, 7th, and beyond.
Yeah, they're really starting to get spread out, much like what we saw last year with Travis Barnes' dominating victory here at Irwindale. Shane Quinn kind of playing the role of Travis Barnes here tonight. Barnes, by the way, got around Cole Raz, so he's now up to 8th in his number 8, the biggest mover of the race by far. There he is, lurking on Casey Garber now in the number 96. We knew Barnes was going to be quick. He got that win in Milwaukee a couple of weeks ago, followed it up with a second last night at Lucas Oil. Here he is, a hard charge to the front. No doubt was going to be very strong here tonight, just trying to get up there, get as many spots as he can. 125 laps to get from 23rd to 1st is no easy task, and Travis Barnes is making good work right now.
Yeah, he is making great work. He obviously wants to get a few more spots, as he wants to get by Casey Garber. Look like Chris Carroll just got by BJ Tidrick. He'll take that spot away in the 97.
But Tidrick able to cross over. Carroll kind of blew the corner there, and Tidrick was able to get the spot back and bring Brightsman with him. And Brightsman wants a 2-for-1 now.
Yeah, just to go back, it's probably going to date myself a little bit. That's absolutely loving that 97 of that Camel Cigarettes car. Right there, you see it. I remember when I was growing up distinctly when you used to go to every convenience store, every store you go to, there was a Camel poster smoking a cigarette everywhere you went. And then how the times changed, Greg, at some point it changed where those were no longer allowed to be there as a caution comes out, and it looks like it's going to involve several drivers, as well as Casey Tillman.
Tillman down on pit road there facing the wrong way. And, Bellamy gets into him. I don't think that was intentional by any means. I think Tillman was just trying to get going, and Bellamy was just making sure everything was okay. It looks like it was contact with Levi Allen that started it. Well, there's Bellamy in the 20. Getting together with Tillman, another car involved. I think that was the 04 of Tarbuck that I saw. Yes, it was. But what happened here? This is down at the pit entry. This is in turn 3. And yeah, Bellamy was coming in, and Tillman came up right in front of him trying to get going. So, I don't think that was intentional on Bellamy, but someone could make an argument for sure about it, but I don't think it was.
Yeah, we'll leave that one up toward debate. It could be, couldn't be. We'll never know for sure unless they fess up to it. And I've been around racing long enough to know if you're gonna do something intentional, you're probably not gonna fess up to it.
Well, Nick Bellamy did tap out on that. However, he was also told not another word on team communication. So Bellamy tapping, but might not be too happy with how that all unfolded.
That'll make it interesting as being put on radio silence there from the admins. And that's never what you want to see. And I want to point out here too, we never went back and looked at this last night, but when we get back around to turn 1 and 2, I do believe it is, or sorry, 3 and 4, look at all the rubber and marbles that are built up on this track already, and we're not even 70 laps into this race.
Just past halfway in this one, so we didn't get a chance to look at it, but I got a peek of it near the end, and it was definitely beginning to really get dark up there at the wall. Didn't quite get to the Oxford levels that I thought it was going to get to. Remember how dark the track got near the end of that incredible 200-lap race that Anderson picked up the victory in. I don't think we're going to get quite to that level here tonight, but you can definitely see that it is beginning to build up. Wesley Outland on pit road with an update.
Bellamy is not happy. He used a couple of expletives that we cannot say in the broadcast because this is the family programming. But he was just simply saying that Tillman needs to learn how to drive and not make so many crazy moves in front of him. And he says, I am done for the night. I'm not going to deal with this stupidity.
Nick Bellamy definitely not happy with how it goes. So Bellamy, the North Wilkesboro winner, going to call it a night right past the halfway mark as we're back under green, and he's going to move into a crew chief / cheerleading role for Shane Quinn. But Anderson hit the wall, but is going to make the pass. Caden Anderson making the pass, but how much did it cost him, Charles, as Quinn's going to fight back on the inside?
He's going to fight back, and we'll see if he's able to get it. And, I have to wonder if that was more intentional now earlier. Oh, and a shot right there. That was definitely not intentional. Just slid up the track from the 4 of Quinn, and he gets into his door panel. He does lift after he does it. That's how you know it wasn't intentional for sure. But, it's a tricky little track. When you get out of the groove and you slide up, you can do that. You get into someone, and it looks like Anderson's going to pay it back.
And they are beating and banging right now for the race lead. And you know who is loving this right now? These guys behind them, Gill, Garber, Carroll, Tidrick. They're all right there lurking and licking their chops right now, waiting to capitalize. Look at Brightsman down there on the inside. 3 wide, and he's going to get loose. That's going to cost him a few positions. Wow, they are getting dicey up front now here as the battle for the lead is settled down, but this is awesome from about 5th on back.
Yeah, and I'm kind of torn if I'm back here. If I'm third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way down to about 10th place right now. This group right here, I'm torn. Do you want to see these
Travis
guys?
Barnes?
They
Did
are
you see
still
Travis
beating and
Barnes
banging.
go through the middle there? Oh my goodness, this is
He's
awesome.
determined, but do you really want to see these guys beating and banging like this ahead of you, or do you
Yes.
want to see them settle out? Because if they're beating and banging, you could potentially get involved in that little mess too. But man, whether they want to see it or not, I do. Because it's producing some really, really good racing.
Brightsman's going to be the big loser. He's going to get shuffled back outside the top 10, and he may have a problem. Sean Brightsman well off the pace now into number 46. There may be a serious problem with Brightsman. He's going to be the big loser and fall all the way to the back. Oh, contact! Tillman getting involved with another driver back there. Tillman and Washington get together, but they're able to keep it going.
And I'm not sure. We'll have to do some homework on it. You got to remember, who is on whose team. I don't know if Washington and Bellamy on a team together or not, but one of those things with racing is they're a tight-knit family, whether it's sim or not. As we're going to have a caution probably for that right there, as the 79 of Gary Smith, I believe that is, goes around. But if you mess with one guy, does your teammate come and pay you back?
Speaking of payback, did we just see some there with Smith and Podan?
Well, we're about to find out as we go take a look at the replay here. You'll see the 79 right there. We'll take a different look.
Brightsman on the inside.
So Brightsman actually tags him.
Yeah, contact between him and Brightsman. Ends out. Tillman and Washington get a piece, and then watch what happens here. No, I wouldn't say payback. I would say that's just more miscommunication.
Yeah, it's a little miscommunication there than anything, but hopefully he's done by now with his waffle fries. And well, never mind. Waffle fries is gone.
He's going to catch up with the drivers involved there. Sean Brightsman did tap on that one on the number 46, so he will fall to the back, which is where he was headed anyway. I don't know what happened with the 46 there, but he was falling the wrong way on the one way, and that is where Wesley's down there. He's down there catching up with the 46 crew to check in on them as Mark Farrar gets the lucky dog to get himself back on the lead lap, which will put 21 cars on the lead lap. And man, Charles, that was a fun restart. You think we're going to do that again?
Yes, I think we will. I think we're going to have another good one. We'll just have to wait and see how good it's going to be. I've said this, and I haven't said it in a while, but, when we picked this series up, you were the seller on this. You're like, hey, we can do this. And I was like, okay. And I knew it was short track. I knew it was short track cars. I knew that coming into it. It was my wheelhouse that I liked. But, you said they would be great, and they have definitely lived up to it. And speaking of being great, I'm sure those waffle fries were, but I believe Wesley's back here with some information for us.
Hey, I'm also a big fan of taco, by the way. Those are really good. But, hey, nonetheless, just checked in on the crew with Sean Brightsman. He simply said that he kind of started to have a little car tightening up issues. He kind of fell to the back, and then he got collected there with that 79 of Smith. Smith kind of drug him down a little bit below the racetrack than where Brightsman really wanted to go. And then the exchange was what we just saw, bringing out the caution flag. But no harm, no foul. He thinks his car is okay. He'll try to make a rally and come back to the front as there's still over 45 laps to go.
So Brightsman watching for the rally. Number 46. If anyone can do it, it's Brightsman. We've seen that so many times. Remember, he's going to be racing for another championship tomorrow. He's already got one championship locked up, the Northwest Cup Series. Tomorrow night, he will race for the Northwest Truck Series Championship, along with the West family, Dan West Jr. and Devin West, and Stephen Paulison making it in as the fourth and final driver for the championship. That comes tomorrow, live on LSR TV. The Truck Series Championship for the Northwest Truck Series, Season 7 of the series. And will Sean Brightsman sweep the championships, which we believe no one's ever done, or will one of the West family or Stephen Paulison sneak in and steal it?
Yeah, it's going to be a good one to find out. And I say it over, I'm stoked to be here for this. I'm going to be stoked to be there for the season finale for what, my fourth or fifth season with Northwest Tour. Northwest Racing Series, first season with the new Northwest Tour. And as much as those are, I said it earlier, real racing coming up this next weekend. Well, we'll say this weekend because this weekend's over. So this coming weekend, looking forward to some real racing as well. Greg, I love sim racing, but I got to get behind the camera again.
Yeah, we all love sim racing.
Charles and Greg, keep an eye on the front row. Anderson and Quinn. Anderson, I just checked in on him again, and he said, and I quote, "The next time Quinn gets into me, he's junk." We have to watch these two cars.
We're underway. Quinn and Anderson leading the way right now. Quinn able to clear Anderson with the crossover. And take the dive to the bottom. Wide jump!
There, he got into him right there.
Oh, and Garber's right there. So Quinn able to clear, and Anderson is not done yet.
No, Anderson is not going to be done. And you already heard it. He got into him there. Will Anderson acknowledge that he made a slider job and put himself in that position really to get, rear-ended a little bit? Or will he say, nope, he hit me regardless, and will he just go after him here?
We'll see. Looks like Quinn a little bit stronger than Anderson right now, who has a lot of damage on his Harvest Chevrolet. I say that 2 times fast. But Garber's lurking in at number 96. Luca's up to 4th. Where did Travis Barnes come from? Well, 5th now as Chris Carroll is trying to get back by, but Carroll has a lot of damage. But where did Travis Barnes come from? Winner here last year. He's up in the top 5.
In the top 5. And you see that little bit of wiggle there from Anderson. I think
a little, yeah.
Oh, good.
He has a lot of damage on the right front of Anderson, so that could be what's allowing Quinn to pull away.
Yeah, and I factor part of it, his getting a little wiggle there from that, and Anderson, a great guy, he's a great racer. But right now, and you've been this way, I've been this way, and I'm sure whenever Wesley was racing the neighborhood kids on his bicycle, you're racing right now. You get into a mode when you are set to do something, you overthink and you overdrive. That may be where Anderson's right now, as he's about to get passed by Casey Garber. So he needs to just calm down, hit his marks again, and really stop driving with that, okay, I got to give this guy payback mode. If he does that, he's probably going to end up making more mistakes.
Garber has gotten to his inside. And another slide of Anderson. He's in the wall again, and that was a pretty decent shot. So Anderson might be in a lot of trouble now, as he's going to really have to get going in at number 37 to try to reel him back in. Closing in on lap 100, closing stages here. Casey Garber up to 2nd. He started 13th in that number 96, so he's up 11 positions from the start of this race, and just enough time if we stay green to try to reel in Shane Quinn, but we've seen Quinn is not going to give up easily.
No, Shane Quinn not going to give up easy. So, and we'll just see how it goes. Casey Garber, though, does he have anything for Quinn? As Garber trying to run him down. I think, I can't remember, what are we at, 3 cautions now? So, I don't think we're out of the woods for cautions, Greg.
I think we may see 1 more, maybe 2, depending on how it goes, but seems to be settling down right now. How about this for Dan Lowther in the number 63, the B main winner? He's up in the top 10 as well. He was in need of a nice bounce back after last night, at Lucas Oil, and he's done a nice job of it, up in the top 10.
Yeah,
trying to reel in Denny and Raz. Sorry, Charles.
Keeping it off the wall this time, so that's always good for him, as he is just going to kind of hang in there in the top 10. We'll see if he moves any further up the field as the night progresses, but we're coming up on 25 to go here in just a couple of laps. No surprise, just like last night, laps are ticking away very quickly, but actually a lot faster than last night. Actually, we were hitting the 1.5 hour, 140 minute on the air by the time we were about this point last time. We've just hit the 1 hour, 4 minute mark.
Yeah, we are clicking laps away very quickly. Coming to lap 100 this time, and Shane Quinn and Casey Garber settling about 0.8 of a second apart right now. Quinn a little bit quicker than Garber the last couple of laps. It's going to be 25 laps to go when we get back to the stripe. Shane Quinn has led just about all of them. I believe Anderson had his nose up front for a couple of them, but it has been Quinn for a majority of the run. See if Casey Garber can reel him back in.
Yeah, he's going to try to do everything he can to reel them back in. And this battle's heating up as well. Chris Carroll and Travis Barnes. Barnes looking to get a top 3 out of the night from starting deep. And I mean deep in this field. As we'll take a look and see, he has 18 spots to the good right now. He is your biggest mover. Casey Garber 11, followed by Seth Frazier, who's in 14th. Right now he's plus 10 on the race. So a couple of drivers are making some good moves and good passes here to better their position.
How about that from Frazier? Because remember, he was caught up in one of those earlier incidents and had quite a bit of damage on his McDonald's Mike Wood Race Designs Ford. So quite a bit of damage on board the 32, and he has been able to recover to 14th. Definitely not the night he was hoping for, especially after winning last night at Lucas Oil, leading every lap. But all in all things considered, the way he's been able to fight back, he's got to be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, he has definitely got to be pretty happy with that. As we back, not to the front, but Travis Barnes is reeling in Caden Anderson as he gets by Chris Carroll, and we'll see if he's able to get by Anderson. I have a feeling Anderson's got enough damage and the fact that he's driving a little bit harder than he probably needs to now with that frustration. And duly noted, you know, if someone keeps bumping you and wrecking you, putting you in the wall, you know, you're going to be frustrated. And he's driving with that right now instead of what he should be driving with, which is his head a little bit. So he's just driving it a little bit harder than he needs to. And I have a feeling Travis Barnes is probably going to get by him here shortly.
We'll see. This is the best battle on the racetrack right now. It's between Anderson and Barnes, and here comes the move by Barnes down to the inside. Will he slide up in front of Anderson? Yes, he will. Anderson with a little bit of a crossover, not willing to give up that podium just yet. Chris Carroll there lurking in case something goes wrong with either of them. Barnes with the charge on the outside, one car in the wall behind him. Barnes gonna have the spot at the line, and Anderson breaks loose, holds on to it. Barnes clears for third.
Barnes, you know, I figured he would get it, and boy, they battled for every inch of that as he finally does take it away. So we're coming up on 15 to go. Greg, wasn't it just like 30 seconds ago I said we were at 25 to go?
Yeah, these laps click away very, very quickly here. It's 19-second laps here right now for our field. Most of them qualifying in the 17-second bracket. So that just shows you just how quick these cars and laps are ticking away. We're going to be 15 laps to go next time Shane Quinn crosses the line. Casey Garber about a second behind him. Cannot talk about what Travis Barnes has done enough in this 8 car to go from 23rd to 3rd in 100 laps. Unbelievable effort for Barnes here tonight. Going to need a caution, though, to have a shot at the win. But if this thing stays green, regardless, it has been a spectacular effort for that 8 team tonight.
Yeah, it has definitely been a fantastic night for these drivers, especially Travis Barnes. You know, Shane Quinn, I don't know. I don't believe he has a win on this season. Does he have a win in the series history for the Northwest Tour?
Barnes trying to move into a tie again with Seth Frazier for second all-time in that category with 5. The all-time winner or leader in wins is Jason Berg with 12 wins in this series. Not here tonight. He's taken the last couple of seasons off, but there are rumors that Jason Berg may be returning to the ranks next year. For not just the Super Late Models, but the Northwest Truck Series and Cup Series as well. I believe he was the all-time winner in Xfinity Series competitions, so he will definitely be one to watch if he does return in the Cup scene as well next year.
Yeah, Berg, someone I have not seen in quite some time. Definitely be looking to see if he does make a return. Will he come back to the Northwest Racing Series as well as the Tour? But Greg, 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go, and we've only been here just a little over an hour as Anderson's get loose, and then he collects the 97. Are we going to see a caution? I don't think so.
Yes, we are.
We do. Woo.
And that's going to help Barnes. That's going to be a big help to Barnes in that number 8.
And again, we won't go back and watch the replay. We literally watched it live there. That was a huge break for Travis Barnes. And that caution, they're thrown by iRacing, and that was a really borderline caution because, I really thought Caden Anderson was going to save that car, and he did.
He saved the car, but it was just enough to trigger a caution. Drivers discussing the incident. Anderson and Carroll discussing on the mic. Anderson, a lot of damage on that car. Definitely not the night that he wanted. So under caution here. Gonna set up a shootout at Irwindale. Shane Quinn, Casey Garber, Travis Barnes, your top 3. Carroll currently in 4th, waiting to see if any tap out here on this one. Anderson is just not happy in the 37 car right now. He's just not too thrilled right now with how this race has gone.
Yeah, it has not gone his way, and I'm sure Wesley's catching up with him right now. And unfortunately, we probably aren't going to be able to repeat what he's saying right now, as there may be a few choice words. Unfortunately, we don't have our beeper that would automatically kick in, or we would talk to Anderson right now. But he is not going to be happy here, sitting in 7th place when he had a shot possibly to win this thing. And, when I say he had a shot, Greg, that is a big if. He was up there. He was in contention. He was in 2nd place. He definitely had a fast car, but you have to ask yourself, does anybody have anything for Quinn, as he has just been a rocket here tonight?
We're going to find out if Barnes can get around both Garber and Quinn. Quinn was just a little bit quicker than Garber on that run, but it's going to be interesting. Wesley Allen has caught up with our top 3s. We, I believe, are getting set to go green. So, Wesley, we're going green. So, gotta do it quickly.
Real quickly, just checked in with Shane Quinn. He said, and I quote, "I don't know why Anderson was mad at me. We were both bumping, banging doors. That's racing, in my opinion. I mean, I can to win." Garber and Barnes in the back, 2nd and 3rd. They feel they've got a shot to get to him and make something happen. They believe he's used up his tires.
All right, here we go. Green flag, going to be 5 laps to go at the green. We're underway here once again at Irwindale. 5-lap shootout time. Barnes with a dive to the bottom of Garber. Barnes knows he's got to do it now because he's got to pass not 1 but 2 cars, and passing is proven to be very difficult here. Garber and Quinn both hoping they can or have enough left in their tires to make something happen with Quinn.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see if he can get it. We're coming up on 3 laps to go. That is all that remains here, is 3 little bitty tiny laps, less than half a mile per lap, as that's going to be 1.5 miles to go when we take this lap right there. 1.5 miles, 3 laps to go. Does anybody have anything for Quinn?
Well, Barnes, I think that was his shot right there. If he could have gotten around Garber, I think he would have had something, but Garber able to fend him off. I think that's going to do it for Travis Barnes into number 8 as far as winning this race goes. And look at the way Quinn is able to pull away from Garber. I think right now it's Shane Quinn's race to lose here as we go down the backstretch for the final time into turn number 3. Shane Quinn going to see the white flag and the CRN 1 to go. Shane Quinn 1/2 mile away from a win in Irwindale.
Yeah, CRN 1 to go. As again, that is all that separates about 1/4 mile now, less than 1/2 mile. Shane Quinn dominating all race long.
Look at Barnes, full send for 2nd.
And we'll have to go back and see. No, he's not going to get it.
Garber gets 2nd, but Shane Quinn gets the job done. First win of the season for Quinn, 4th of his career. It's done in style here tonight at Irwindale. dominating performance for that number 4.
Yeah, what a dominating performance as the fireworks are already underway, and we're already going to get to see a celebration here as quickly you see how fast they get around this, and there he is going to do some celebrating. He'll burn what little tires he has left. Again, no tires changed, so probably don't have much to do a burnout with.
Slides it right next to Casey Garber, who comes home with a second spot. And Travis Barnes, a fantastic effort for him to finish 3rd. Unbelievable job by our drivers. Well, as the checker flag falls, it was a quick night here at Irwindale, so might as well. Let's get it done as quickly as we can. Let's take a look at the Sawblade.com unofficial results. Shane Quinn gets the win, his 1st of the season and 4th of his career, to move into a tie for 3rd all-time with Anderson and Barnes. Garber 2nd. The aforementioned Barnes finishes in 3rd with Chris Carroll and Jason Day. Nice job for him. 1st career top 5 for Jason Day. Here he finishes 5th. Isaiah Gill, Brock Denny, Cole Raz, Caden Anderson, Levi Allen, your top 10.
In 11th place, going to be BJ Tidrick. Making the race, not possibly the night he wanted to have in 11th place, but he'll have to settle for it here tonight. Troy Tarbach in 12th, followed by Seth Frazier, who had a run from the back and managed to get 13th with a little bit of damage. Bart Hector Jr. 14th, and Josh Washington rounding out the top 15. The 16th through 20th going to be Dan Lowther, Briar Reynolds, Jake Podan, Casey Tillman, and of course Mark Ferrer in 20th spot. And the last 4 spots finishing here tonight going to be Sean Breisman after a strong run, just not finishing where he wanted, followed by Gary Smith, Ellie Musgrave, and Nick Bellamy, who was looking for a good run in that 20 machine after last night, and it just didn't pan out for him here tonight.
Well, so that's how it goes here at Irwindale. I'm going to turn it down real quick before we go to break to Wesley Allen, because I know you got to get ready for a long day tomorrow. So, Wesley, we're going to go ahead and turn it down to you now for your final thoughts.
Great job by Shane Quinn. Just shades like we saw Seth Frazier do at Luke's Oil Raceway. Always enjoy being the Joe's Racing Products pit reporter for the iRacing Northwest Tour. A fun night at Irwindale. We'll get ready for Stafford next Sunday night. And remember, the Northwest Truck Series Championship and the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoffs will be decided. We're going to see if Sean Breitzman can make history being the Cup Series champion and the Truck champion tomorrow night. It should be a good one on your home for sim racing, LSR TV. Charles, Greg, always fun working with you. God bless you all wherever you are. Good night.
Thank you, Wesley. And we're going to go ahead and get caught up with our top 3. And when we come back, we'll talk to them. You're watching the end of the Mountain View Classic here on LSR TV, your home for sim racing. Welcome back to Irwindale, ladies and gentlemen, after another fantastic race here, and we're going to take a moment to catch up with our top 3, including the guy who charged his way from 23rd to 3rd. Outstanding weekend for him, and outstanding couple of races here on the Northwest Tour. A win at Milwaukee, 2nd last night at Lucas Oil, and now a 3rd at Irwindale. Travis Barnes, I think it's a safe bet to say you're the hottest driver in the Tour right now.
I appreciate it. It's fun. It's fun racing all these people out here. It's definitely hard to get through the field, starting in the back. It makes you nervous for sure with all the wrecks that happen in front of you. So just glad to come home in 3rd tonight.
Well, Travis, tell us about charging through the field, because you had to start at the back after your 2nd place at Lucas Oil last night, and 125 laps at Irwindale to pass 22 cars is no easy task. Well, you did manage to pass 20 of them. So tell us about that, working your way through the field.
It was difficult. The spots were give or take, and those restarts definitely helped me a lot. I think I gained the most positions on those restarts. There would be so many clusters up ahead. You'd have to pick a lane to go through. Casey did a really good job of it too. Should have followed him. He got up to second, but it was hard to pass tonight. It was hard to pass last night, and I think that's just a product of the setup.
Yeah, and Travis, looked like you had a really good grip on the setup, as I think combined you passed the most cars. Because remember, you had to start dead end of the field last night for winning at Milwaukee. I think you passed a total of 45 cars this weekend, if my math stands correct, or in that ballpark. So definitely had your work cut out for you. But next week we head to Stafford, another track that's going to be pretty tough to pass on. But you've proven that you can do it here over the last couple weekends or a couple races. What are you expecting at Stafford next week?
I'm expecting some good close racing. I know if we're going during the day, the heat will be turned up, and it'll make it a lot looser, a lot slicker, and it's going to make the racing a lot more interesting. It's going to be more of a person versus person type of setup versus these cooler nights. Albeit it's not really cool. It's 93 degrees. It just, that 130 degree track temp makes it harder to drive.
All right, Travis, a second place last night at Lucas Oil, a third here tonight. Great performances, passing 20-plus cars both nights, and another chance to thank your sponsors here.
I'd like to thank No Clue Racing, my crew chief, Robert Richardson, my mom, my stepdad, Kyle, Jack Franks for all my talent, and everyone here at LSR TV. Thanks for putting on this 2-day.
Travis Barnes, third place. Congratulations. And I believe that Charles Wooten has gone down and caught up with second place, Casey Garber.
Yeah, we caught up with Casey Garber, but we got word from Casey there was fighting in the pit, so we're going to just we're not going to leave. I'm just kidding. Fighting in the pits, we got to check it out later. But Casey Garber, you come in second place here tonight. You know, you were right there all night. You had him in these long runs. You had him. You were right there with him. What do you think you needed to get by Quinn?
Track position was pretty huge. He was starting deep in the field there, kind of hurt me. I mean, my tires were definitely worn down a little more, so I had nothing there for Shane. Congrats to him on that one. He deserved it, so glad to come home second, though.
Well, second place, definitely a good position to finish in. And, we talk about it every week. You didn't have any tires to change out. You didn't even come down pit road at all. So how was the fuel and how were these tires? How much were they worn down when it came to the end of the race?
Yeah, I definitely got it up on the right rear. I wore a lot more on the right rear there. I was messing with my brake bias quite a bit, trying to see if that would help it, but I think it was too much after I had to use the bottom to get towards the front there, and I used it up on the bottom, and I was just hanging on there at the end.
Well, hanging on, you did just that for a second place finish and a wild race at that. A lot of beating and banging, and obviously we're hearing tempers are flaring, but that is short track racing. You come out mostly unscathed anyway, not too much damage for second place. Who are those sponsors on the car? You got to think.
Yeah, I just want to thank Garber's Garage, Caden for all the paints, and Coors Light.
There you go. Go drink you a cold one. While he's doing that, I believe, Greg, you've caught up with Shane Quinn, who had a dominating hot rod here tonight in Victory Lane.
And Shane Quinn, an absolutely dominating performance, beating and banging with Caden Anderson. But boy, once you got out front by yourself, it was clear that you were the class of the field. Man, tell us about that run.
I just knew if I stayed hooked to the wall without actually touching it, it'd be pretty tough for people to get around me. I was a little worried about the double file restarts, and had a good battle along the way. It was fun. It feels good to win again.
So Shane, like you just mentioned, good to win again. It's been a few months since you won here. First win of the season. So tell us about just your first half of your season. You got the third place at USA, but since then it's been kind of a struggle for you. But to finally get that monkey off your back, that's gotta feel pretty good, right?
Oh yeah, I feel like $1 million right now. I just, we got so many fast guys this year. It's just one of those things. A lot of it's luck of the draw. There's top 5 cars are usually within a tenth, and when the tires 5 laps into a race, it's even closer than that, So track position's a huge deal. I obviously wouldn't have won if I didn't start pole. Like I said, I just knew if I can just stay locked to that wall or that outside wall, I was not only going to have better tires at the end of the race, but it's going to be it's outside leverage. It's going to be tough to get around me.
Well, Shane, we're going to another case of that next week at Stafford, and you're going to have to start tail end of the field on that one. So what are you expecting in that race? You're going to have to start 24th of 24. What are you expecting next week at Stafford?
It's going to be a lot of the same. I haven't a lot of the times this year I just get caught up and wrecks ahead of me, and I haven't really I've been able to put together I think 1 or 2 podiums this year, and I haven't been able to make other races because my new work schedule. So it's just having fun doing it, just trying to have fun with my friends. That's basically it.
Having fun and getting his 4th win of the season, or 4th win of his career, and 1st of the season definitely feels good for Shane Quinn. But Shane, first chance of the year to thank your sponsors on the Victory Lane performance.
I'm gonna go with thanking all my friends I do this with, you guys. My fiance, she's just cheering me on. She came down and gave me a big kiss on the cheek and was stoked about it. Better Hall, everybody that's involved with this.
Shane Quinn, winner tonight here at Irwindale. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Charles, it was a quick one here tonight, but we got it done, and man, it was definitely a fun one here. What was your final thoughts on Irwindale? What are you expecting next week from Stafford?
It was definitely a good race. It didn't disappoint, and a very quick night as well. Only an hour and a half long race with pre-show, post-show, and everything. So a good, quick night of racing. For the most part, pretty clean, but obviously some tempers flared. Going to Stafford, I like the track. It's a fun little track. And the question is, will those tempers that have flared roll over to Stafford next week?
Oh, I'm sure it will, and we're heading to another flat half mile, so who knows, we might see some more next week at Stafford. A very similar track to what we just spent the weekend at with Lucas Oil and Irwindale, another very flat half mile oval. Going to be some more great racing next week for sure. Set the time and reminders for next Sunday night at LSR TV. From Stafford Speedway, a great race coming up, no doubt. We'll see if Casey Tillman can go back-to-back on that one. But for tonight, it's time to say goodbye. For Charles Wooten and Wesley Allen, who's already off to bed, I'm Greg Rentz. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We'll see you next week at Stafford.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like